Well, let's talk transportation. Where's the money going to come from?
That's what we have to develop consensus about. Here are three small ideas of where money can come from that describe the creative aspect of what I'm thinking about. We can incentivize people to take cars off the road through the use of tax credits. We use tax credits to incentivize telecommuting, use tax credits to incentivize employers to put their employees on flex time schedules, work them 4 days a week, go in before 6 or after 9 in the morning, take cars off during the peak hours, and use tax credits to incentivize people to use public transportation to and from work. I mean, there are creative things I think we can do that don't necessarily involve raising more money. Those are low-cost ideas to reduce congestion, and that's just like building a road. The big question is how we develop new sources of money for transportation. Lisa, we have to develop the consensus to get that done. And you look at my record, I've not been afraid to vote for things in the past, and I'm not going to be afraid to lead in the future. But we have to bring people around the table and sit down and keep open mind and say, lots of things are on the table. What can we develop consensus around?
What is the one issue, if you can get it down to just one issue, that is not receiving the attention you believe it deserves during this election?
Well, I honestly, Lisa, when you talk about, I think the big issues, from my standpoint, state government's in the infrastructure business. You build the infrastructure of the economy, transportation and education, you allow the private sector to flourish, it takes off, it grows the jobs and the wealth and the revenue you need for everything else. The fellow that I'm running against in this campaign has thrown out a transportation plan that Democrats and Republicans alike say won't work. And I'm not sure that that's getting enough attention. He takes money away from one avenue, one pillar of that infrastructure, education, to pay for the other pillar, transportation. You rob Peter to pay Paul. It ain't going to happen when I'm governor. We're going to work to create success and opportunity throughout state government. I think we're addressing the issues that are important, but and there probably will be issues that will get short shrift as time goes on. I'm going to continue to talk about ways to create economic success throughout Virginia.
Well, let's talk about the current administration. What is something that is not being done right now that you would like to implement during a Deeds administration if you're elected?
Sure. Mark Warner and Tim Kaine are good friends of mine, and they've been good governors, and I've done what I could to support them. I've not been shy about disagreeing with them when I disagree. Here's one thing I think that a Deeds administration can do that will save money and hadn't happened in Virginia yet. We can institute performance reviews, energy audits. An energy audit, I think, we spend $300 million a year on electricity, the state does. I think we can perform an energy audit and save 20% of our costs over 4 years, and that's a goal I've got. We can require more localities, or not mandate, but we can encourage more local school boards to conduct reviews of their spending to produce efficiency. That started under Mark Warner. 33 school divisions around the state are doing it, saving money already. We've got to encourage the rest to do it. We can go to a form of zero-based budgeting to require every agency of state government to justify nickels and dimes. Frankly, there's some people that are going to say that's too much trouble, but there are states that are doing it that are saving 1 to 6% of their budget on an annual basis, even in tough times. Families and businesses are having to cut back. I think we can find ways in state government to cut back. That's going to be one thing that's different when Creigh Deeds is governor.
What is the one characteristic of Creigh Deeds, one that you most admire in yourself, that will move Virginia forward during the next 4 years?
Admire yourself, Lisa, for crying out loud. People say sometimes that I'm weak. They say that I'm too nice. But people who say that, don't probably know me well enough. I'm a nice guy. I believe that you catch more bees with honey than with vinegar. And so I work well with people on both sides of the aisle. And you look at my record, I've got a clear record through the years. I'm very proud that guys like John Chichester and Marty Williams and Brandon Bell and Russ Potts and Jim Dillard, Republicans, are supporting me in this race. But I try to live, and I fall short of this every single day. There's a verse, and in this country, you believe what you want to believe nothing at all. It makes you no less of an American, no less of a patriot. There's a verse in the book of Philippians that I try to live by, and I fall short every day. Verse 3, chapter 2, book of Philippians, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourself. I think it's a wonderful rule for people to live by, but for those of us in public service, it's essential. Now, that's what I strive for humility, and I don't think that's a bad thing in public service. It's allowed me to be successful for a number of years.
When you campaign, so much is detailed about you and your life. What is one thing that Virginia voters do not know about Creigh Deeds? That you're willing to share.
Well, one thing that and this struck me, I didn't know whether to cry or to be proud. About 10 or 11 years ago, we were having a Democratic meeting in Bath County, and a fellow stood up in the back of the room and said, "Here's why we need to support Creigh Deeds." He was the worst baseball player I ever saw. He struck out all the time, but he never quit. He came to practice every day. He came to the games. He'd sit on the bench until the end when they put him in. And I didn't know whether to cry or be proud. I'm not athletic now. Maybe a lot of people know that, but a few more will know it now.
Do you remember those games?
I do. I do.
How painful were they?
They were very painful, but I love sports, and it was important for me to participate in the things that I loved and to try to. But honestly, I can't walk down the street and chew gum at the same time. I don't have much coordination.
Now everyone knows.
Right.
Well, let's talk about your family.
Married, my wife Pam, been married 28 years, married in February of 1981. Met Pam at college in West Virginia. We have 4 children. Amanda's 24, Rebecca's 22, Gus is 20, and Susanna's 17.
What role will they play in your administration if you're elected?
Well, my family will be my ground wire. My family will remind me on a daily basis of who I am, and not that I can't get too big for my britches, even though I might be the governor of Virginia. I am still Pam's husband and the father of Amanda, Rebecca, Gus, and Susanna, and that I've got responsibilities to them, and that they will be my ground wire. They will keep me focused. They keep me focused on a daily basis now.
Well, what are their feelings as you get closer to the election and you campaign?
Well, my wife is not a political animal. You know, she doesn't enjoy this process very much. She takes it very personally now, and sometimes it gets a little tough for them. I remember a number of years ago I had was involved in a pretty ugly campaign, and Pam, without telling me, wrote a letter to the editor, and it probably, I ended up winning the election that year with over 70% of the vote, and I expect a lot of that was due to Pam's taking it very personally. My children have varying degrees of interest. You know, they have, people who know me will tell you that my family is remarkably grounded, and that's a credit to Pam. She is a humble person who has kept the kids removed to a large extent from the political process. I've been in the legislature 18 years. And my children are fascinated by this, and they're fiercely loyal to me. And they've all played roles in the campaign to this level. And my son, frankly, is going to take the semester off, the fall semester off. He'll be in his 3rd year at William & Mary, but he's going to take the fall semester off and to hang with his dad. I need my son. He needs his dad. And it'll be good to have a daily ground wire.
Last question. Why Creigh Deeds? Why now for Virginia?
I believe that you don't choose your time chooses you. We are in a remarkably challenging time, but that does not mean we retrench. That means we invest in the future. I'm the right guy right now because I come from a part of the state where there's not much opportunity. I can be a governor who brings the whole state together, who brings Democrats and Republicans together, who works, and I will do this. Every day I will wake up focused on creating opportunity and prosperity and hope throughout Virginia. I'm a guy that can see the whole playing field, and I know what it's going to take to create opportunity throughout Virginia, and I'm focused on that. I know that I can be an effective governor.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Lisa.
In closing, we would like to thank each of our partners, Virginia Association of Counties, VACO, for bringing the candidates and their ideas to you, Dominion Virginia Power for its outstanding production work, and UNOS for allowing me to interview the candidates. The rest is up to you, the voter, on Tuesday, November 3rd.